Hey everybody, it's episode 400 of PodQuest.
Hey!
We should have held that for 400 seconds.
That's
a fucking long time.
That is probably longer than we normally talk for.
No, 400 seconds is just under 7
I'm sorry.
minutes.
I'm thinking minutes.
Oh,
But
you're
still,
thinking, I was going to do the Rent song, but I don't actually.
525,600. God damn it.
okay, Mr. Theater.
Who doesn't know that?
I don't. I have no idea what you're actually talking about. Richie said Rent, so I'm assuming he meant the play Rent, right?
Yes, yeah. Like, I know the song, I just don't know the number. Like, I know how the song goes, I know the cadence and everything, I just don't really know the number, because there's a lot of numbers, and
That's fair. Wait, is that the song where they just sing, like, numbers?
Yeah, 525,600 minutes.
Go ahead, Drew. You seem to know it.
No, that's all I know, but...
600 minutes.
I didn't know that was Rent.
That's like, I think it's like, that's the amount of minutes that sit in a year. Yep. And then they go seconds. It's, what was it? The Office did it when Michael Scott left. They did, however many minutes he worked at Dunder Mifflin, yeah.
I remember that.
Same thing.
Also, didn't know it was from Rent then.
Yep.
Like, is Rent the one about,
Everyone's
HIV?
got AIDS. Everyone's got AIDS.
Okay. I couldn't, cause, what's the other, Stomp? Stomp's the other one word, like Broadway show, right? Not wrong about that, am I?
Yeah, I mean, that is a thing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't really know. I'm not really too sure.
I know very little about, like, stage productions of things. Other than Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. I remember that one.
Yeah, wasn't that, who was it that made wasn't that, for some reason I'm thinking Bono did the soundtrack for that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I really know about it.
I have no idea what any of the music's like on it. I just remember it being a thing and several actors being injured during performances and rehearsals.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I forgot to keep going with the intro. I'm Chris. With me is Droo.
Hello.
And Walnut.
What's up?
And yeah, we're 400 episodes in.
That's a lot.
It is. It's a large fucking number.
It's a lot.
But aside from that, Droo, how was your trip?
Oh, it was really good. San Diego's dope. Everyone go to San Diego. Like, the weather, it got real hot one day, which was, like, super random, but otherwise it was just sunny and amazing, and the zoo was cool. SeaWorld's meh. Don't go to SeaWorld.
SeaWorld's
go to the
always
zoo.
meh.
Yeah.
The only reason we went to SeaWorld was, like, we bought the City Pass thing, which, it let you go to 4 different things. One of them was SeaWorld, one was the zoo, one was a little, like, 1 hour, cruise tour in the bay, and then the other we used for one of those, like, jump on, jump off trolley tour things, which we used to, like, get to the zoo.
Nice.
And the Wings won the game, so, you know, it was all good.
You're such a nerd, man.
Were you guys booed a whole bunch for being there in Wings gear or whatnot?
Not really. There was one guy sitting, like, a couple rows behind us and to our right that, like, very jokingly we had a little back and forth, and, like, at one point he was like, go back to Philly. I'm like, we're going to on Sunday. And then he said, go sooner. And I was like, we haven't gone to the zoo yet.
I mean,
it's like, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's good reason. Good reason.
I mean, it's kind of like the only reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you go to the zoo and then you go home.
Then you leave, yeah.
I mean, we had a lot of good food. Like, it was a good time. It was a fun trip.
Nice. Sounds like it.
And you guys just stayed in whatchamacallit the whole time? In San Diego?
Yeah, we had a hotel in, like, kind of right on the border of the Little Italy and Gaslamp districts. So, like, pretty much right in downtown San Diego. So, we were within walking distance or incredibly cheap Ubers of a lot of food and whatnot.
Nice. That always makes trips better when, like, you can be in the area and just be either easily commuting or no need to even commute.
Mm-hmm.
But nice. Well, I'm glad it was a successful trip.
Yeah.
And then I saw, I guess it was Sarah posted on Facebook. You guys had like the bullshit layover where you had to fly into Boston to then fly to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking hate the way airplanes work. It's so goddamn stupid.
It really is. The one bullshit thing that happened was on the flight there, either Spirit or the TSA destroyed our suitcase. Like, they just straight ripped the zippers off.
Wow.
So we had to buy a new suitcase while we were in San Diego.
Did
bring our shit back.
Did you have locks on it or something?
We had a TSA lock on it. Supposedly a TSA lock anyway.
That's fuck. See, I've never actually put a lock on a bag because like I'm always afraid they're gonna pull shit like that. But like that's bullshit. Did you guys end up spending any time in Vegas, or did you just like hang out in the airport the whole time?
No, we just hung out in the airport because our flight to Vegas got delayed. Because
that tracks.
It was raining on Wednesday. So actually, it was lucky that I had my alarms set and all. And first thing I saw when I looked at my phone was a text and an email from Spirit that our flight was delayed from 7 to 10. And then it got delayed another like hour while we were at the airport.
Oof. Oh, that sucks. At least you had such a buffer though that like you didn't have to rush or anything, I assume, when you landed.
No, yeah, we still had a 2-hour layover in Vegas.
Which, like, that's a good layover amount. Like, it's enough time that you can, like, grab something to eat, take your time getting to, like, the next terminal generally, but, like, not so long that you're just sitting there, like, staring at the fucking wall, like, just counting the seconds.
Yeah, like, originally it was supposed to be, like, 6.5 or so, which, like, at that point we might have actually left and gone to the Strip and gone to, like, a casino for a little bit or something.
Just to say you did it.
Yeah, or found, like, something more substantial to eat. But then when it was, like, 2 hours, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Like, I've luckily never had, like, one of those, like, 6-hour layovers, but I would, assuming that it wasn't, like, I had my bag with me situations, I would totally do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just, like, go outside for a little while, come back an hour and a half before I need, like, the next flight to get through security again and be on my fucking way.
Yeah. There's a Konami building right near the airport in Vegas.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, 90% of their business is fucking, like, slot machines and pachinko machines.
Yeah.
So that tracks.
It was just funny seeing just Konami in big letters looking out the one window.
Yeah, probably not what you expected to see when you were at sitting in the airport. You're like,
nope.
Did we fly too far? Like, I thought we were only on this flight for like 5 hours, but did we fall asleep for 13?
Could have.
No, you couldn't. Not on an airplane.
No.
You're lucky. You're lucky to get one like solid hour of sleep in a row on an airplane.
Yeah.
Well, Rich, what's on the agenda?
What is on the agenda? So there was, I guess, a small convention in Philly called Fan Expo, which is the new Wizard World, I guess. That you went to, Chris. We all should have watched Ip Man, or Yip Man, however you pronounce it. The martial arts biopic, I guess.
Yeah, I would call it a biopic.
I mean, it's not fully bio. Like, it is obviously, they took a lot of leeway with it, but it is a biopic about Yip Man. Then I saw Sonic 2. Chris, you watched The Bubble, which I want to watch at some point. Then there's big news coming out of Kingdom Hearts. There's a fourth one. Then I played Return to Dark Tower, and Chris, you played some Lego Star Wars. But yeah, let's get into it with Fan Expo. How was Fan Expo?
It was much better than I expected.
Really?
Yeah, so Wizard World hadn't been very good. Like, I stopped going to Wizard World like 5 or 6 years ago because it was kind of shit. They put all of the emphasis on the celebrities, and ticket prices were kind of outrageous, and there was no reason to go. Like, there weren't a lot of, like, worthwhile comic people there, like, or artists or any of that stuff, so you had, like, vendors selling Funko Pops that I don't fucking want, and celebrities that I don't really care to meet. And, like, that was what Wizard World had become. And now, I don't know exactly if I have all of this correct or not, but I believe the company that now owns Fan Expo purchased like the convention circuit basically from Wizard, rebranded it as Fan Expo, and are now all of the Wizard Worlds are these Fan Expo insert city name. So this was the first one for Philadelphia. It's not the first one they've done. I think they started them late last year, maybe. Kind of like in the fall when conventions started happening again, basically. But this was the first one in Philly. I know it's still the same, like, behind the scenes people, but who I don't know the name of the like umbrella company that owns it, but like the people that are actually like working the show and like doing that stuff are the same, because all of the press people that send out emails are the same people that used to do it for Wizard World. So, and like none of them were ever bad. Like all those people were always super helpful, super on top of shit. Like they do a fantastic job behind the scenes. It was just the parent company that like put no emphasis in anything but the celebrities that were going to make them money, basically. But like Fan Expo, like I thought the floor was laid out well for the space they had. Still had conventions have issues with like arranging stuff, and I just don't get it. So I think PAX usually has it, but you guys know that root beer truck that's always at fucking conventions?
Yeah, it definitely was at PAX last year.
Yeah,
it was just all the way in the back. It's in an awkward spot this past year.
Yeah, and it's, you buy a reusable, like, tin mug, basically, and you can just go through there all weekend and refill it. At every other convention, they put them in the most obnoxious fucking... Like, they put them in an aisle. So you then have people just crowding around this fucking thing to get root beer that you can't get up and down the aisles. And they do it at everything. New York Comic Con does it. Fan Expo did it. Like... They need to start putting that fucking thing, like, in the back against the wall or something where, like, it's visible, it's accessible, but it's not blocking people from walking. Because, like, the people that want the fucking root beer are going to go find the fucking root beer.
Right.
Like, it was bad enough that the person working the booth across from them was trying to, like, direct traffic, like, asking people to, like, take their time, be polite, like, apologizing that it was so backed up. Because, like, people just couldn't see their booth. And it was like an exhibitor booth, so like they were selling merchandise, but like you couldn't stop and look at it because you'd literally be like stalling hundreds of people trying to come through that aisle.
Yeah.
But like other than that, like it was broken. It was kind of like, I don't know if it was purposeful or not, but it was sort of broken up into 3 sections. So when you first walk in, it was all like your vendors and stuff like that, exhibitors, and then like halfway back you'd hit like Artist Alley. And they had, like, the quote-unquote comic professionals, like the people that are generally people that have done work on, like, Marvel, DC, Boom, IDW, like those names. They were kind of around the perimeter. And then past them, you had, like, the celebrities and like, voice actors and stuff like that at, like, the back of the show floor. So this way, like, you really did have to walk through the entire show to get to that section if that's the only thing you were there for. So you were at the very least seeing other things. You weren't just like going right to the celebrities and like bypassing everything else. And it was like, it was separated enough that it wasn't like prohibiting people from seeing other things also. They did seem to have they were in the Broad Street side of the convention center. So I think PAX was there in 2019 maybe? Something.
I don't remember.
There was definitely one year where the at least the entrance was on that part.
Yeah, so this was, you go in on Broad Street, and then you go right upstairs, and they were the exhibit hall, like, right upstairs off of Broad Street, which it seems to be one of the, like, smaller rooms, and it's a little oddly shaped. It's kind of like a truncated L, because they have, like, a built-in, like, kitchen area for, like, the in-convention center cafe thing where they sell like pretzels and shit. So like they had like the little bit of like the L nub was like their main stage where they'd have like celebrities and guests doing Q&As and stuff throughout the weekend that you didn't have to go down to a panel room to see. And then the rest of it was just the length of the floor was like the show floor. They did have like a little gaming section, a little anime section, a little beer garden. So like, they had like some like fun little areas. They had like a cosplay alley where like all like the people selling cosplay stuff and the cosplayers were set up. Good mixture of like exhibitors, I felt too, like a lot of Funkos because those things are still super popular. But then like, people selling comic books, people selling like old toys, video games, a lot of interesting like craft stuff this year too. seems like wood crafting must have gotten really popular over the pandemic.
Which is weird because lumber raised in prices so much during the pandemic.
Right? But there were at least 4 booths completely dedicated to like very intricate like wood art. Mm-hmm. And like one of them, it was really cool. They didn't use any stains or anything. All of their coloring was from the wood itself. So it was all like shades of like reds and purples and yellows and stuff, and browns, obviously. Mm-hmm. But they were doing like scenes from like anime and video games on them. And it was they were like slightly embossed, so like the carving would actually be like the scene itself, and then like the background would be like the piece of wood below it. Almost, I don't know if I'm describing that real well. But like basically like the characters would stand off of the wood a little bit, almost like a diorama. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they were really cool looking, and you know they had full blown scenes, and then they just had some other stuff that was like a wanted post. Like they had a Vash the Stampede wanted poster. They had like One Piece wanted posters. They had stuff where it was supposed to be scenes from like the manga, where it actually had like the text bubbles and all, and like they looked really good. And then there was another booth that had more stuff that would just be kind of like a generic like wall hang, like they were like different types of pictures and things like that. But they had some that were carved to be like a Nintendo controller. And they had one that was actually pretty big, probably like 8x17 or something like that. And in like the group, so it looked like the Nintendo controller. It had the D-pad, the A and B, the start and select buttons. But everywhere else on the controller were like these smaller engravings, or like more like burnings, like it was wood burned or laser engraved. Mm-hmm. I think the guy said there were 45 different like scenes from games, or scenes from 45 different games kind of like on this controller. And it was very expensive, but very cool looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, like I said, good time. Artist Alley was also like, Artist Alley was a good combination of like artists, like just traditional like prints and stuff like that. And then people selling like books and crafts and like different things, not just like art prints. One thing I noticed, and this is not a Fan Expo thing, there's a group, I think they're called like Comic Sketch Art, that does, they basically do convention bookings for like comic book professionals, like artists, writers, and stuff like that. They almost work like an agent would. Like the convention or whatever, like reaches out to them. They coordinate like, well, here's how much it'll cost for like room and board and travel for them, and then gets them set up like at their table and all that, and they get some sort of percentage of like their sales for the weekend. But it seems like every single person there with them is now charging for autographs, and like not like a little bit either. Like some people were charging $10 per book to sign them.
Yeah,
and like I get it. Like I understand like the idea of like that you pay money to get like stuff signed by like the other celebrities and stuff like that. But like these are things where like you already spent, you know, $5 to $10 on the book, and then it's like, cool, now $10 more for me to scribble my signature on it. Whereas like less than 5 years ago, like some people would charge, but it'd be like, you know, they will sign 5 things totally for free. But like if you bring them like a short box of books to sign, they're going to ask you to pay something, because like you are then basically taking up their entire time signing a bunch of books for them.
Yeah, yeah.
But it didn't look like anyone had the, like, you know, 1 book free, 2 books free. It was just, like, I was standing at one of the booths, like looking at stuff, and I saw the one sign, and, like, it was just, and I heard one of the people work, like, one of the comic sketch people work in the booth say, like, oh, yeah, it's $10 per book. Like, that's a lot.
I mean, but was it just that person, or was it everyone? That's the question.
Everybody that I walked up close enough to that I could see their little plaque in front of them was at least $5.
Yeah. I mean, it might be due to the pandemic. A lot of the people in the industry who were doing these things, they lost a lot of money because they weren't doing it. They kind of have to recoup that by maybe charging more or charging in general. It's kind of scummy, but at the same time, it's what they got to do to get back to the living that they were making.
So the thing is, like, I don't think that this is necessarily like strictly the artist side of it. Like, cause like I know somebody that is now signed on with Comic Sketch Art, and they were a little, they weren't hesitant, but like they were just kind of like upset in general that like they had to raise their prices for like commissions. because they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to raise the prices, but because Comic Sketch Art gets a percentage of that commission cost, for them to actually make like the money that they would normally make, they had to like raise the price to offset that. So like a lot, like there are plenty of people here that like were not with Comic Sketch Art previously that like I think a lot of them are charging now because like it's a thing that Comic Sketch Art requires because they're trying to make money. Because like for them, for Comic Sketch Art, the actual convention is a business. It's not like a thing for like fans to meet creators.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, to be fair, every single person at Comic Sketch Art, like the company that I interacted with for one reason or another at the show, super nice. Like none of them were assholes. They weren't like if you went up to just like talk to one of the creators, like they weren't like pushy trying to get you to like pay or anything like that. Like sometimes like the celebrities will be like that. Like if you don't want a signature and you just want to go up and meet them, like the person working the booth will like be unhappy about that. And like all those people, like they were super cool about it. Like they understood that not everybody was there like for signatures. But it was just like that's a lot, like because there were a few books that like I brought with me to get signed because there were creators that like I don't see at too many of these shows. And who knows like if they're going to go to like the other big ones. And like I get up there and I'm like, I'm not spending like $20 to get like a book signed. Like I don't need it that bad. It was more just like it's a good excuse to go up and talk to the person.
Yeah.
But you know, that's me.
No, trust me. I always hated paying for the autographs and stuff. Like that's why my best experience whenever it came to an autograph was getting JDF. And that's because, like, his was $5 for everything. A picture, an autograph, you get to talk with him for a bit, you get a poster for him to sign, like, everything. It was like $5. He's like, I don't care about the money. I have to do it because they make me. I don't really care to get the money. But it's like, then, like, I went to Lou Ferrigno, who was like $60 to get a friggin', a headlock. And then I think it was, what's his name? Kevin Suckbo. He was charging like $50 just for a photograph.
Yeah, and that's normal prices for like plenty of other people are like significantly more. Like any of like the big names, you're looking at like $100 or more.
Yeah, yeah.
And like there's certain people like Christopher Sabat and Sean Schimmel, I think is how you say his name. The Goku and Vegeta. Were there this weekend, and like they're like $40 or $50. I've seen videos of like Chris Sabat's stuff. Like he seems super cool with everybody. Like he actually like has a conversation with you when you get up there, and it's not just like slide the thing, sign it, and off you go. But like both of them, like they have insane lines the entire time. Like it was honestly kind of sad. Like I walked back through like the celebrity section on Friday, like afternoon-ish. I shouldn't say afternoon because the show didn't open until 4. Probably like around like 6 o'clock, I kind of walked back there, and Sean Schimmel was back there. His entire area was filled, like the entire like line section, just back to back person. Every other like booth that like the person was there, like at most maybe like 5 or 6 people waiting.
Yeah, and
it's like Jesus, like. Everybody is just waiting in this line. And I'm sure on Saturday it was even worse because they were both only there Saturday. And their booths were right next to each other.
Oh, yeah. People would get out of one and go right to the other.
But, like, Nolan North was there, barely had a line.
Wow.
Yeah. Though I know the guys who from Red Dead Redemption were also there. I don't know anything about, like, I think, like, the voice of the main guy from the first one and the voice of the main guy from the second one were, like, the two voice actors there. They seem to have steady lines the whole time, just from like what I gathered from seeing stuff online, and apparently we're also super cool, so that's something.
Yeah.
But I did end up getting lucky. So the guys that worked on Venom most recently, Donnie Cates and Ryan Stegman, after they wrapped up their Venom stuff, they launched one of those Substacks that a lot of like comic book people were doing, and it's like subscription based. Like you can subscribe for free, or you can like. It's like $7 a month, and like you get access to like a bunch of different things. Like they release like their books like in pieces through the Substack, so you kind of get to see like the whole process of like from like start to finish and stuff like that. They actually on I guess it was like Tuesday, and the show opened on Friday. Sent an email to any of like the paid backers and basically said, hey, if you're going to be at Fan Expo Philly, respond to this email. and we will put you on the VIP list for our panel Friday night. And it was a ticketed event, which, like, the cheapest ticket for the event was $150. And that's and that doesn't include your pass to the convention. So, like, you need a badge to the show plus a $150 ticket to get in. And, like, that panel, it was, like, an hour Q&A, and then, like, they were, like, signing books, taking pictures, they gave, like, a print, like, a Venom print, as well as, like, 2, like, limited, like, convention cover comics. And, like, they'd sign everything. They'd sign, like, 3 books for a person, chat with them, take pictures. I thought that was actually pretty cool. Like, that, like, those guys, like, sent that out to, like, subscribers. It's like, yeah, hey, like, you guys pay every month to see this stuff. So, like, come to this panel if you are in this city. And the impression I got was, like, it's a thing that they plan on doing, like, whenever they're both at a show and have those panels. Which is cool, because, like, $150 after paying for the badge is kind of a lot. It was funny, though, like, apparently the convention didn't really know what was going on. So, like, they were, like, nobody at the convention, like, pushed back on it, but, like, you'd go up to them and be like, hey, like, this is why I'm here, like, here's the email saying, like, to go in, and they're like, all right, hang on, I don't know anything about that, I have to, like, find out, like, I'm sorry, like, please just hang out for, like, 10 minutes while I figure this out.
Yeah.
Which I thought was amusing. But, yeah, it was a good time. Like, I hope that they, like, get progressively better the way a lot of conventions do, and they don't kind of fall back into the Wizard World trappings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be nice for this to stay something new and fresh and not Wizard World, because I think we had a Wizard World booth once, and after then I was just like, I don't need to go to Wizard World. I never need to go there again. I had no push to go to it.
Yeah, I think I went maybe 2 more times after that, and then just stopped. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't worth the cost to go. Like, there was usually very little see. But, like, this one, like I said, like, other than, like, being in, like, what I feel was, like, one of the smaller halls, they did a much better job. Like I had a legitimately good time Friday and Saturday, and I'll definitely go back again next year. And I honestly hope that they get a bigger space just so that they can bring more stuff in. I can understand why they would, like, err on the side of caution and, like, maybe not go too big the first year, because, like, there's still a pandemic going on. It's the first year after 2 years of not having any shows in that kind of area. So, like, don't go too big and then, like, lose money.
Yeah. Take it easy, take it small, and then see where you can grow from there.
Exactly. But do you guys want to talk about Ip Man or Yip Man? I don't know. However you say it.
It's I believe it's pronounced like Yip Man, like with a Y, but the Y is very, very subtle. But yeah, let's get into it. The book club for this week was Yip Man. It was a sort of fantastical biopic about Yip Man. He was the what was it? Wing Chun? Wing Chun. He's like the first grandmaster. He trained Bruce Lee, and like this was his life from during the there I don't even know what kind of war or what war it was, but it was
World War II.
Was it World War II? It was World War II. Okay.
Yeah, it was the Japanese occupation of China during World War II. Yeah. The movie started in like 35 or 36, and I think went to 39.
Yeah, which is funny because his son did not age up at all. But yeah, it was interesting to watch. It was very interesting to me. I very much enjoyed it, and the choreography and the kung fu that they used, the fighting that they used, was really good. And I thought it was a good story. It was an interesting story. But what about you guys? What did you guys think?
Hong Kong action movies always have stellar choreography and fights. Like most of the time in these movies, it's less actors being replaced by stunt doubles and martial artists that want to be actors. Yeah. So, like, the people doing the fighting are also trained martial artists, so there's not a whole lot of, like, in The Matrix, like, they taught the actors, like, basic moves, but as soon as anything got serious, they were swapping them out for stunt doubles.
Yeah, and doing face swaps to make sure that they still looked right.
Yeah, whereas in this, like, Donnie Yen was actually, like, doing that stuff with his hands.
Yeah.
And that was insane. Like some of the movements were just incredible to watch.
Yeah, it was really, really fun to watch. And how they moved around, how they reacted to each other's fighting styles. I I don't know about you guys, but for me, at least initially, it seemed like the syncing for the audio was off a little bit, but it did get better throughout the movie.
I didn't notice that at all.
So, like, the vocals, like, it looked like it was dubbed in Mandarin from a different language. Like, I got only a little bit at the very beginning. Like, I had to rewind a few times just to be like, wait, huh? This just doesn't seem to be matching. But eventually it did, and I got over it. But I really liked it.
Drew, what did you think?
I enjoyed watching it, especially the fight scenes were really good. I did kind of space out at parts of, like, just the story in between. It was like, okay, we get it. Like, oh, he's mad at them for doing whatever. And then also just, like, trying to pay attention to the subtitles. Like, I hate them, but...
Subtitles are one of those things where, like, you have to watch stuff with subtitles regularly to get the hang of being able to, like, read and watch and have it not feel forced.
Yeah.
And, like, even, like, I don't do it enough anymore that, like, I had the same thing where, like, it was just distracting trying to read the subtitles at some points, and I'm sure I missed a few things, or at least, like, didn't, like, interpret them right.
Mm-hmm.
I also, like, I honestly got a little bored during, like, a lot of the story bits, too. Like, it wasn't a bad story, it just, I didn't find it all that interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't find it interesting, his fall from grace and then re-rise, and that's what I thought was one of the more interesting things. Was it wasn't just about this guy who was always rich. Like, once Japan took over and occupied that part of China, they lost everything. He ended up having to work probably for the first time in his life, which is interesting to me as well. And like, I don't know how much of it was real or fake. Like, I don't know if he actually fought the general or not.
I doubt that, but, like, him and his family really did flee from that city to Hong Kong in, like, 1945.
Yeah.
So, like, that was the thing. Like, from the little bit I read online, like, him and his family fled from the city that they were based in to Hong Kong, but it was much later. It was, like, 1945 when they did that, not, like, 39, the way the movie sort of alluded to.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, and that was, like, you say, like, his, like, fall and rise, but, like, it didn't really feel like he had a rise. He just, he fought the guy, he won, but then he basically had to, like, flee because Japan was still in control of the country at that point.
Well, but, like, the rise, it's not just the rise, it's his rise in general. Like, he was this rich, well-off man who just was like, I'm not going to train, I'm not going to teach anybody, who fell into the deep end, basically, because of everything that was going on, and then started to rise back up, realize the power that he had because of what he knew and what his responsibilities were, and then became, after the events of the movie, became the Grand Master and became, like, this well-known martial arts teacher. It's like it is a fall from grace and then a rise, but it's not really from grace because it wasn't his fault that he fell, but...
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not a fall, it was they were invaded and conquered and had their lives.
That's
like,
you're looking at its semantics, though. Like, you understand what I'm saying. Like,
yes.
Like, however we say it, it's, he was up top, everything was taken from him, and then he had to rebuild his life, and the re-rise that he had rebuilding his life, it is, in my opinion at least, it's a relatively inspirational story. And I can understand getting a little bored. Some of it was a little slow, but overall, like, I didn't find myself getting too bored. Like, there might have been one point where I was like, alright, this is maybe taking a little too long. But overall, I was just like, alright, I'm in it. And I enjoyed it.
I mean, and look, I don't think it was a bad movie. Like, I think Drew and I were just kind of on the same page where, like, some of, like, the story beats in between. And I think part of it may have just been because it was so much reading during those parts, too. Just felt like they dragged in, like, that's why I sent that message the other day where, like, it's not a bad movie, but it's a very long, it felt much longer than it actually is.
Mm-hmm. It did. It really did feel longer than it actually is. At just under 2 hours, it did feel... After about a half hour of the movie, I'm like, how much longer do I have of this? And I still had almost an hour and a half left. I was like, oh wow, I barely got anywhere into it, but it's also the way the storytelling where, like, it kind of just everything's up and then it just drops because of the war. And then, like, it's two different stories being told. One story being told before the war and then the story being told during.
And the one other thing that I didn't particularly like, and this could just be a thing of where I sort of missed something in the lulls, like all the stuff with the like bandit gang, like there's kind of not really a resolution to that, or why were they ever there to begin with? Like they were just like thrown in.
So, no, go ahead, Rich.
Well, I mean, one of them was the brother of the guy who he fought with.
Right.
Daily.
Like yes, that was like the only like meaning that came out of that. But like it felt like that bandit group was put in there just to like randomly give him a conflict with this guy.
I mean, it was the bandit group was thrown in at the end to give the big fight. Like, it was legit, it was most likely just thrown in to give the big fight. I doubt that actually happened. But it was, I don't, cause like it was also a way to, it was a vessel to get the Japanese to know where he is, because he now fought the bandit group at the factory, and the bandit group are the guys who told the Japanese that he's there, that he works there. Like, if it weren't for that whole situation, the Japanese most likely never would have found him. And so the leader of the bandit group was also the guy he fought at the beginning before the war. And so, like, he was upset because his honor got ruined by Ip Man, but Ip Man's like, no, you're a great fighter, you could have taught here. This is all on you. And then he ended up just being an asshole and stealing from people because everyone was down in the dumps. And then it just caused everything to turn around to where this is how Ip Man was captured and pushed into fighting General Miura.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely used it as, like, a story catalyst. I think, like, it worked better. That character, just in general, worked better at the beginning, kind of setting up that, like, Ip Man was the only one there that was actually skilled enough to, like, beat this guy. Yeah. Because it kind of set that expectation. Like, you see him fight the other, like martial arts teacher and, like, just take him out, but, like, that was a much more, like, friendly fight. Like, they weren't trying. And then when, like, the bandit dude showed up, like, he literally beat him with a fucking feather duster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, beat him bad, like, embarrassed him. But I agree, like, when it came to him showing back up, like, at the, like, in the third act, it just felt like, okay, well, we need something to get from this point to that point, so let's just make it that this guy's been, like, robbing people for a while and extorting poor people.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 100% just a vessel. It wasn't really meant for anything else but that, just a vessel. And it also helped them put together the story with the brother and, like, have the brother come into play again.
Yeah, which was also one of those kind of almost like blink and you miss it sort of things. Mm-hmm. Like, there was, like, one other line of dialogue when he gets to that, like, work crew the first time and, like, meets the guy that he'd sparred with that, like, worked at the restaurant. Where, like, if you miss that one line of subtitled, you would not realize that this guy has never been able to find his brother in all of that time.
Yeah.
And in which case, like, that whole thing with the tin and all wouldn't really make any sense until the very end where, like, it dawns on you, like, oh, like, he hasn't seen his brother in, like, 2 years.
I mean, but once he opened the tin and saw what it was, he would have understood everything. Like, oh.
Exactly, but, like, it would have taken you to that point to realize.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, like, I would be willing to watch the sequels to kind of see where the story goes. Because, like, I think the character is interesting in a way. I just think that, like, the way that they told the story just wasn't all that compelling.
Yeah, I think it continues to still be a combination of biofic. I don't know if it's, like, all fictitious or if it's all real. I think it's just a combination of all of it together for the other four. And I thought about watching like, at least the second or even third one after I watched this. But I watched this on Saturday or Sunday, so I ended up not watching any of the others. If that's where it comes into the idea of if this weren't subtitled, I probably would have watched the sequels because I could have potentially done other things while watching it, like maybe cleaned up or whatever. But I'm fine with watching a bunch of episodes of an anime subtitled for sure. But the way that Netflix had the subtitles for this, they moved way too fast that I had to rewind a few times.
Oh, see, I never had a problem with them moving too fast.
I read slow, so
get good, man.
Tell that to my brain, okay? Tell that to my brain.
I feel like people have been doing that for years. It hasn't had any beneficial impact.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But so it looks like all the movies are at least loosely based on his life. So there are definitely creative liberties taken, but it does kind of it works its way through the 30s where this movie is up until his death in the 70s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At one of them, he does have Bruce. It's not Bruce Lee, but he does have someone who's portraying Bruce Lee.
Every other movie after this one has at least a character meant to be Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
In the second one, he's like a kid who wants to train to beat people up. But then in the sequels, eventually it's an older actor portraying Bruce Lee.
Yeah. I almost watched Enter the Dragon after I watched this too, because I was it suggested it. I was like, oh, I should, but then I added it to my possible suggestions of future book club books or book club movies.
I was gonna say we're not gonna read Enter the Dragon, though.
We technically we would be because I believe it's also subtitled and not dubbed.
Oh, see, I thought that movie did have a dub to it.
Not sure. I never watched it.
All the Bruce Lee movies are the stereotype of the bad dub.
I think you're right.
I feel like that's where that comes from.
Yeah,
the Bruce Lee movies.
Yeah, lips moving and then 3 seconds later the dialogue comes out.
Uh-huh.
But I've never watched a Bruce Lee movie, so I don't know. But it looks like this movie in particular, it won Best Film and Best Action Choreography at the Hong Kong Film Awards the year it came out. So I guess 2008 or possibly 2009. Yeah, it must have been 2009 because this movie released in December of 2008. Well, this movie is much older than I realized. I didn't really thought about the fact that it was 2008 until I said it out loud.
I mean, I thought it was older just based on how the visuals were and
Oh, you thought it was actually from the 1930s?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't think that, but the visually, it early on at least, it looked like it might have been 80s or 90s in my opinion.
Oh, see, I thought it actually looked a little I thought it looked pretty crisp as far as that went. I didn't think it was any I honestly thought it was probably from the 2010s. But yeah, it was fine. A little boring here and there, but the action scenes were good. I thought that the general story was interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good movie. Yes, I said good in movie. And I'll probably end up watching the other 3 as time goes on.
There is also a spin-off.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so 4 more movies. Which
is fine. I've done it before. I've played 7 Mega Mans. So
Master Z, Ip Man Legacy.
Nice. I'll have to watch it.
It takes place after the 3rd movie.
Okay.
And it has Dave Bautista is in it.
Nice. Well, I mean, Mike Tyson's in 3, I think.
Yeah, 2 or 3. Tyson is in it as as some sort of American boxing promoter or something like that.
Yeah. So it does get weird after a while.
Okay, so that spin-off movie, it has Dave Bautista and it also has Michelle Yeoh. I'm probably saying the name wrong. She's in that she's in Shang-Chi. She is his mother. Mm-hmm. And I believe she is also in that new movie Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I need to watch that. That looks insane.
It's apparently really good. I've heard a few people mention that. She's a very good actress and has been in a ton of things, but most recently it was Shang-Chi as his mother, and then she is the main person in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
So the spinoff might actually is probably in English if Batista's in it, or at least has English, I should say.
Yeah.
anything else either of you want to say about the movie?
I feel like everyone should give it a try. I mean, whether you like subtitles or not, just give it a shot and enjoy it.
I mean, it's under 2 hours. Like, I realize I said it felt longer, but, like, it was still less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well, are you guys ready for the next pick?
Sure. What is it? What are we picking?
All right. It's going to be 2 movies.
2 movies?
Yep. Hour and a half each. So they're not too long. They're on Netflix. I would like to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 and 2.
Okay. Yeah, because if I don't watch that, like, every other week, I don't, but, like,
so
I should.
I have never watched them back-to-back before, but I don't know how well either of you remember it. But the first one's actually pretty dark, both literally and figuratively. And the second one is way, like, lighter toned, like, comedy. So, like, I'm just kind of curious, like, how jarring that is between the two. Like, watching them, like, actually back-to-back.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, look, like, you get Toka and Razor, you get Casey Jones fucking flipping the garbage truck lever when the shredder falls into it.
Mm-hmm.
Splinter makes a joke twice.
Yeah. I made a funny. Ha, 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 ha.
And then I made another funny. Oh, and Vanilla Ice.
And Vanilla Ice, absolutely.
The ninja
Kevin
rap.
Nash.
Oh, that's right. Kevin Nash is Super Shredder at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those.
Yeah.
I like both of those movies. It's been a very long time since I've watched the second one. I want to say I watched the first one maybe like 5 or 6 years ago.
So, like, why don't we just go for gusto and do all 3?
That's a lot of movies, and the third one is actually pretty bad.
So
like
Ninja Turtles. Who cares?
I know we've spent a few months like torturing Drew with some pretty bad stuff, but I don't want to do that to myself.
Man, Droo even came out and said he doesn't like movies in general. So
I feel like TMNT 3 can't be worse than fucking Fantastic Four.
Fuck it, let's do all 3 then.
I'm not saying we should watch all 3 because that's a lot of movies to watch.
It's come on now.
Well,
it's 4.5 hours over the course of 14 days. How hard is it to fill to be able to watch 3 hour-and-a-half long movies? I'm assuming the third one is an hour and a half long. How hard is it?
I'm gonna check. Let's see.
We've done longer book clubs in 2 weeks with the Formula One doc, with wrestling.
Yeah, but wrestling we were able to watch sped up.
I mean, I didn't and couldn't because
that was your mistake.
I was casting it, and so casting it, you couldn't watch it sped up. I don't think.
Really?
I don't think I was able to. I tried.
Why can't I not find Teenage Ninja Turtles 3 on fucking Just Watch? Oh, there it is. It does not have the right fucking cover. So I'm gonna send this to you guys because it's fucking funny, and then I will explain to everybody else what it is.
Yep. The fuck.
So if you go to Just Watch, and search Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, the cover art, at least when I just searched it, was Teen Witch, and not like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, like Teen Witch from like I want to say it was like 88, but it might have been the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It had the really bad like white dude rapping in it.
Yeah.
It was not a good movie. Okay, yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 is also about an hour and a half. So like, yeah, I mean we could do all 3. It's on HBO Max. It's on Netflix. They're everywhere. But you know what?
I'm okay with it. We can call the third one a bonus book. If we don't want to do all 3, we can call the third one a bonus book.
All right, let's do that. Let's see how everybody feels after watching the first 2. Because like I honestly don't know if I would be able to get the third one in. Just like work is going to be busy for me over the next 2 weeks. And there's no way Erica is going to want to watch all 3 of these.
I'm all done this weekend, probably.
Well, yes, because you live a sad, lonely life by yourself. Of course you can have them all done this weekend.
I literally have no time to watch any movies this weekend. My weekend is booked. Like,
see, that blows my mind.
I will not be able to watch it. The earliest I'd be able to watch it if I don't feel like watching after work is next Saturday.
That blows my mind that, like, an hour and a half, you don't have an hour and a half, like, when you first wake up, or between things, or before bed. It just blows my mind.
I mean, like...
I mean, I do, theoretically. Do I want to? No. Like...
Because that's the thing, and I agree with that. Like, we have a bunch of stuff to do this weekend, because, like, Sunday's Easter, so I think we're going to eat with my mom. Saturday's my mom's birthday, so we're gonna go over there to see her for her birthday. And it's one of those, like, I don't want to wake up and, like, watch a movie. Like, Jesus, so much dropping. I don't want to, like, wake up at, like, 8 o'clock on a Saturday to, like, squeeze a movie in. Like, I'm gonna wake up at, like, between 8:30 and 9, walk the dogs, do all that shit. Like, by the time I'm back and sitting down, it's, like, 10 o'clock. And at that point, like, it's Saturday. Like, Saturday's one of the only days I get to play games. So I'm probably gonna play games for a little while on Saturday before we go to my parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, at night, like, again, like, Erica's not going to want to watch these. I'm not going to force her to watch something that she's going to fucking hate. So, like, I go to bed 5 hours before she does on a Saturday. There is no time for me to watch it before bed. So, like, my movie watching is generally during the week. Like, either, like, over lunch, like, if work's slow, that sort of thing.
Yeah. It just blows my mind, that's all.
I understand, but like I've literally said, I'd way rather do so many other things with 2 hours of time than watch a movie. Even a movie I enjoy, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, I liked those movies as a kid. I'd imagine I'm still gonna like them.
Yeah, Drew, didn't you and I actually watch the third one at my house, like, when I still live in Woodland?
Fucking probably.
I feel like that was a thing. I feel like it was, like, right after it came out on video, like, my parents rented it, and, like...
Almost certainly. Like, I'd be shocked if that didn't happen, honestly.
And you know what? In 1993, I did not know how bad Turtles 3 was. In 2022, I know how bad Turtles 3 is.
Yeah, like, it's almost assuredly worse than I remember.
The first one holds up. Like, it's a dark, gritty, kind of, like, comedy action movie. First one holds up. Second one, maybe? I guess we'll see. I hope it does, because I always had a soft spot for the second one, because it introduced, like, Kino, and Toka and Razor, and Super Shredder, and, like, all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just realized, Rich, that you you actually own all of the movies on DVD, or are they Blu-rays?
No, you didn't even look at that at all.
Oh, these are records, aren't they?
It is a single record of the original 90s theme song, or 80s theme song, whatever it is, plus a couple of other songs from, like, the games and stuff. I didn't click on any of them at first. I was just looking at the small squares. Mm-hmm. So I bought that as an impulse buy after a few drinks. I don't have a record player.
Man, you are bad with your money, man.
No, this was like, I knew what I was doing. I had the money, and I bought it. I was like, I want this. This is cool. And record players aren't expensive. But it's just like, when I bought it, I straight up forgot immediately after I bought it that I bought it, and I never got around to buying a record player. I also own the Untitled Goose Game record, and I've owned that for close to 2 to 3 years, and I just forget that I have it, and I forget to get a record player. I have some old ones that probably don't work out all that well, but, like, I probably need just a newer one anyway.
All right, so your next stream goal should be to buy a record player and then try to play a record on stream. I would and, like, literally, it has to be like you unboxing the record player. You cannot practice ahead of time. I want to see how many tries it takes for you to actually get the record to start correctly.
The Fancy Friday passed, and so we're going to be doing it on the 29th. I'll be dressing up in a nice suit and everything on the 29th. I plan on getting a record player by then, starting the night off with Ninja Turtles, and then putting Untitled Goose Game on afterward.
And you're going to stream yourself trying to set up the record player and everything?
Yeah, it'll be set up fucking right next to me. Like, it'll...
No, like I mean, like I want to see you, like, struggle, like putting a record on is actually kind of hard if you've never done it before.
Oh, I know. It'll be here. It'll be in view. Like, you just gotta be there and you gotta watch.
Make sure you turn your mic down a little bit, because that scratching is gonna kill somebody.
Well, I gotta figure out how to play it through. Like, I don't know if maybe a modern record player could have an aux cable that'll play through to my PC or something like that.
Oh,
probably.
You can get a USB fucking record player for sure.
Yeah.
But your microphone is so fucking powerful that, like, you can just turn the record player all the way down, and I'm sure your microphone will just pick up the actual needle spinning across the grooves.
I actually, on OBS, I have messed with my mic settings, so it doesn't pick up my clicks and clacks and things like that. But it's only through filters on OBS. I need to figure out how to do that on my PC in general.
OBS and even Discord actually have a lot of really good, like, noise gating and noise limiting features. that like just you have to like really tweak like Audacity or something to really like get that to happen otherwise.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ninja Turtles 1 and 2 at the very least, maybe 3. I guess we'll reconvene maybe next week and see if it's worthwhile.
Yeah, we'll do it.
So I figure if between Drew and I, if we've each managed to watch maybe one of them before next week, I think like we can probably squeeze 3 in at that point. If we haven't gotten to, we'll probably just stick to the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, 3 movies in a week is probably pushing it a little bit even for me, who like I enjoy watching movies.
But yeah, it sounds like a good next book club. Are we ready to move on?
We are. So you saw Sonic 2,
bro. I saw Sonic 2.
Don't spoil it because I want to see it. It's just not it's not a theater movie for me.
That movie's great, man. It is great. I was afraid it wasn't going to hold up to the first one, and I think it at least holds up to the first one. It's got it's got the similar Sonic humor that the first one has. Knuckles is written fantastically in this. Tails is awesome. I just, the whole thing, like, it just, once it has a little bit of a slightly slower start, but once it gets going, it's just nonstop. And it gives you all, like, the nostalgia factors. It gives you everything that, like, you kind of are hoping for in a Sonic 2 after seeing Sonic 1. Like, it's like, there's no real, like, spoiler except for something that happens at the very end. Like, because it's a Sonic movie. So, like, what are you afraid is going to be spoiled for you? Like, there is one thing that I won't talk about, and I'm not going to talk about specific instances of the movie, but, like, it's definitely a children's movie, so there's not going to be major, oh my god, spoiler happened type of thing. But it's just, it was so fun to watch. I caught myself getting a little teary-eyed and a little nostalgic.
Now, at any point, did they play the Saturday AM intro?
I don't know if I know that intro.
It's the Blue Streak speeds by Sonic.
No, they didn't.
No,
they didn't do that. That's Chili Dogs. Chili Dogs. That's all I got to say about those.
No, that's from Sonic Adventure. That's from Weekday Afternoon. No one gives a fuck about Chili Dogs.
But the Chili Dogs are all over that. He loves Chili Dogs. Let's see.
Was Urkel in it at all?
I don't think Jaleel is in it at all.
They need to get that. They need to have him cameo, like not as like a voice, like literally just have fucking Jaleel White like as like a random cameo as himself, not as a character, as himself. No. What
they need to do is they need to like, now that like potentially Sonic is like a more known name in the world, like they need to create a cartoon of Sonic and have Jaleel White voice that Sonic cartoon voice in the show and make it just super meta humor.
That would actually be kind of cool.
But like it's just there's one part where like he spins in the ball and it actually has the noise that it does, and it made me so excited. And it's just they missed me on one thing. Like I was like you should have done it on just one thing. And there is a scene, I believe it's in the trailers. There is a scene where he's snowboarding down a mountain. And they didn't have the city snowboard song from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Rolling around at the speed of sound. That one, like, they didn't have that in the background. They really should have.
I'm so disappointed they didn't have the Saturday AM theme, so we're both disappointed.
Yeah. Because, like, they even got some bigger songs, too. Robotnik does some stuff where they had some bigger songs. There is a post-credits scene, or a mid-credits scene, not a post-credits scene. There is a mid-credits scene which I'm kind of a little bummed out that they went with that route instead of a different route, and you'll understand when you see it. But it's just, I wish they did something a little bit more different, and maybe they might still bring what I want in on Sonic 3. But it's just, yeah, I adored the movie. I want to go see it again. I want to try to get the Bros to go see it, because it's, as dumb as it sounds to say, because there was only one Sonic movie before this, it's tradition for the Bros to watch a Sonic movie together. Because we were 100% for Sonic 2019, /2020, whenever the original came out.
It was 2020.
Yeah, it was February 2020, right? But yeah, it's so good. And I love their casting for Sonic. Having Ben Schwartz as Sonic is just so great.
Yeah, he was a good cast for that.
I can't stress enough how much I love how they writ Knuckles. Like how they wrote Knuckles. Writ, look, words, no good. But how they wrote Knuckles is just, I loved it so much. Yeah, I was on cloud 9 after watching it. I really was.
Did either of you guys see them? I think it was IGN was interviewing like the stars, and they had those fuzzy Xbox controllers that Microsoft was releasing.
No,
did they?
Yeah, and like one of the people they interviewed about it was Idris Elba, who like,
oh god,
like he like took the he looked at the thing and like literally like recoiled from it at first, and then he's like, "Can I touch it?" And like he picked it up and was like playing around with it. He pressed the button, like the power button on it, and it lit up. And he's like, "Oh, look at this! It lights up," like showing like the button. And then like legitimately thought that like the guys from IGN made it as like a joke. Did not realize that it was like a legitimate controller. I thought it was very funny.
I mean, those controllers are weird as shit, man. I don't know why you would do that. Like, I was playing some games on mouse and keyboard and my hands started to sweat. Like, I can only imagine how it would go with something like a furry fucking controller.
Well, no, they would keep your hands dry because like you just have built-in towels into the controller at that point.
but gross, man. Like, you have to brush those things like every day. Oh man. Like, I have a couple of Funko Pops. The Knuckles that I used for today's post on for OneQuest is flocked, and I'm afraid to touch it because I know how like potentially greasy or just sweaty my hands can be. That like I make sure to like wipe my hands off super well before I touch it.
Why don't you just wash your hands more often, man?
Well, I do, but I'm just saying, like, even after washing my hands, I'm just like, this thing is flocked. I don't want anything getting on it. And I constantly make sure my hands are clean before touching a flocked pop. I think I've got 2 of those. Yeah, Carrara and...
Now say that 5 times fast.
What? What did I say?
Is it like something about like washing your hands before you touch a flocked pop?
Okay, I don't know exactly what I said, so I can't say 5 times.
Man, pay attention to what you say.
I don't pay attention to anything. You know that.
That's valid. That's valid.
But yeah, go check out Sonic 2. We need a third. We need a trilogy for this. And then we need Sonic and Knuckles. And then we need Sonic Adventure. Then we need Sonic Adventure 2. And then we can stop after that, unless they decide to do like Sonic and the Dark Knight. But we don't really need that one.
Yeah, I definitely do want to see the movie, but it's definitely a movie I'm going to wait for it to hit like VOD. Because... like, I didn't see the first one in theaters. I don't, like, while I enjoyed the first one, I don't feel compelled to, like, see this one in theaters. There are other movies I would kind of rather see, like, Doctor Strange is coming out soon. I do want to see that, what we were talking about before, the Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad it seems like it was a good movie. It's getting pretty good reviews. It's doing great at the box office. All that fun stuff.
Yeah, it's just... It's obviously not a blockbuster masterpiece or anything like that. Like, I don't know. I don't really know if a blockbuster masterpiece, if it would be one. I don't know if that's how Blockbuster made their money, was saying masterpieces, but, and that's probably why they're no longer in existence. But like, it's obviously not a masterpiece, but it's
I was gonna say, so Blockbuster didn't make masterpieces.
I know. I was being joking. I was being facetious. Okay? Let me just go with the bit.
No, it's not okay.
Just go with the bit and just keep it going.
I was trying to. I was waiting for you to actually make like a "that's why they're out of business" remark, but you didn't.
I mean, I did.
I didn't hear that.
I said that's why they don't have. That's why they're not around anymore. That's why they don't have it.
I missed that.
See, you're getting mad at me for not paying attention to what I say.
No, you were the one getting mad. I'm fine.
You're the one who's supposed to be active listening.
Man, you all know we tune out as soon as you start talking.
I know. It's almost as if I said the word Monster Hunter or something.
I was gonna say that's why every time that we do bonus action, everyone does the exact opposite thing that you wanted them to do.
No, that's just D&D. That's just how D&D works.
No, they do the exact opposite of anything. Like, you're like, okay, they're probably gonna do this. Nope, they do the complete fucking opposite.
No, I mean, they've not really gone too far off my plans. Like, at least...
last time you had no plans. You're like, I didn't plan anything. I don't know what to do.
No, I planned things. It's just... it's hard to get it down on paper because I didn't know the path that they were going to go. So it's just...
I'm just fucking with you.
I know. But yeah, definitely go see Sonic 2.
No, I already said that. I'm going to wait for VOD. And we all know Drew's not going to go to a fucking movie theater to say it.
I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to the listeners.
Well, you got to be more specific.
They know who I'm talking to.
Well, do you want to move on?
No, I want to keep talking about Sonic 2.
All right, so we're going to talk about the bubble next?
Yeah, the bubble that he sucks up when he's in the water.
So Drew, the bubble was it's a Netflix original. It's a Judd Apatow movie.
It protects you from getting hurt when you get hit, and you don't lose rings.
That's only in Sonic 3.
I'm pretty sure there was a bubble in Sonic 1 and 2. There was a green bubble.
No, there's a shield.
It's a shield, a bubble, it's the same thing.
No, there's literally
a bubble in Sonic 3.
There is a bubble in Sonic 3, and it makes you bounce. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. But yeah, so the bubble, the movie, it's a Judd Apatow movie. It stars David Duchovny and Karen Gillan and Leslie Mann and Pedro Pascal and some other people who I'm drawing a blank on at the moment.
It's an Apatow movie, so it has everyone in it.
Well, no, fucking, there's no Paul Rudd, there's no Seth Rogen or any of those other people that are usually in his movies.
Paul Rudd's a Marvel star now. He's not going to go to an Apatow movie.
Sure he will. He's Paul Rudd. He just shows up places just because he wants to have a good time.
Yeah, he'll troll Conan on his audio podcast with a video.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
It's amazing. It's amazing that he still does that to Conan.
But like literally, Paul Rudd is so nice. I bet like if he heard there was a Judd Apatow movie, he might just show up like thinking he was in it and like not being sure, but not wanting to ask because he wouldn't want to sound rude. So he would just like show up and be like, "Hey."
If we had Paul Rudd's contact information, he'd come on the show. That's how nice he is. Probably.
But yeah, it's so the movie is kind of like a satirical comedy sort of thing. Everyone is playing actors who they are all stars of this fictional like Jurassic Park-esque film franchise, like big monster movie called Sky Beasts. So it's basically all just a bunch of flying dinosaurs, but not like pterodactyls. Like they look like T-Rexes, but with wings and but slightly smaller. It's very weird.
Okay.
And so it's being shot during the pandemic, so they have to quarantine and everything. That's why it's called the bubble, because they're in their like quarantine bubble.
Okay.
So like they go to like this fancy hotel in England, and they all have to quarantine for 2 weeks, and then they film the movie, and then somebody gets sick, and they have to quarantine again. And it's a lot of like just the actors interacting like between filming and like their slow descent into madness as they kind of go crazy because like this I think it was supposed to be a 3-month production becomes like 6 months because like shit just keeps going wrong. Mm-hmm. Fred Armisen is the director. He's like an indie director that like won an Academy Award for like his like low budget indie film that he did, and now he's been tapped to like direct like this big blockbuster movie.
Sure.
He's great. Kate McKinnon plays like a studio executive. John Lithgow plays like a higher up studio executive. John Cena makes a cameo as incompetent stunt coordinator, but I think he is quarantined separately, so he's in his scene on like a Zoom. So he's like on an iPad on a stick, and like the stunt doubles are like acting out the things he is talking about doing while holding this like broom with an iPad attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good. It's not the best movie in the world, but I thought it was entertaining and goofy. Like if you're looking for like something with like a powerful performance or like an important like story, definitely not it. Definitely probably like a weaker story as far as like the Apatow movies go. Probably because they were leaning into like the whole pandemic thing a little too much, and I feel like it's not even so much that like too soon. It's just like it's not that funny.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like the cast is really good, and the cast seems to be having a good time with it. So all the stupid gags do actually work better than you'd expect them to.
Mm-hmm.
Pedro Pascal was great. Oh, and the girl that played Borat's daughter is also in it, and she has wonderful comedic timing. Like she was wonderful in that Borat sequel.
Mm-hmm.
But like Pedro Pascal plays like kind of like a scumbag actor. Like the first thing he does in the movie is like try to sleep with people, and then at one point like because they're all kind of just like losing it because they're constantly in quarantine and stuck on this production, he basically just like pulls out all of the drugs, and it's like he has so many drugs, even though they've already been there for like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's worth watching. I think it's like 2 hours, so it's a little long, but it's not like the worst.
Yeah, and I've who had somebody on it? I think Conan had somebody who was on the movie recently, and it's definitely a story that I'm interested in seeing. I forgot that it was out, like, even after watching that or listening to that podcast.
Yeah, it came out on April Fool's Day, because they had actually, one of the trailers they released as a joke was a trailer for the Sky Beast movie, or whatever the actual franchise is called.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it was them basically acting really cheesy, and then you find out that it's actually a trailer for this movie where, like, they're the actors in this other movie.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I enjoyed it. It's like a 3 out of 5. Like, you know, it's enjoyable. It's not something that you're going to think about for years to come, though, or probably want to rewatch, but definitely worth watching at least once.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Rich, you played this Return to Dark Tower?
Oh, we're gonna just skip number 6?
Oh, fuck, yes, I can't read. Kingdom Hearts is a thing. Did either of you watch the trailer?
I did.
I watched it just before recording, even though I know nothing about really what happens in Kingdom Hearts, so I watched it. I was like, yeah, sure, fucking Kingdom Hearts is happening, I guess.
Yeah, so I don't know how, like, the series ends at all, but there's a few important takeaways from here. He's suddenly in the real world, which looks weird, but also, his feet are regular sized. Fucking Sora wears clown shoes.
Mm-hmm.
When did his feet become normal size? Because I was under the impression he just had big feet.
So, I watched a video or two about it, and from what I can understand and what I can gather, Sora basically dies at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. But,
Sure.
like, doesn't die, but, like, dies, kind of. And this is essentially the real world, but the best way to put it is, in Elden Ring terms, this is the world between. And so, like, this is sort of the afterlife, but not.
Yeah, the girl that, like, came into the room said it was, like, the afterworld or something like that.
Yeah. And she is a lead character from the cell phone game that's going on.
Okay.
Or not like a playable character, but she's a lead character. She's a main character in the cell phone game. But it's not really, and they're gonna have, based on the trailers and stuff that they showed at the event, there's gonna be some stuff finalizing that game coming out. So maybe it plays into it, but according to Square, you don't, like, she's mysterious. So, like, you don't actually have to know, but maybe it'll help. Just like every fucking thing else in Kingdom Hearts. If you played Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, you'll be fine. Like, you might be a little lost, but so is the creator, so it's fine.
Yeah, like, so we should probably set expectations right now, too. This game got announced in April of 2022, part of the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts. I don't think we're going to see this game until at least 2027.
The 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts, that blows my fucking mind. Like, I can't believe 2002 was the first Kingdom Hearts. Like, it blows my mind. I have higher hopes than that, though. Because some of the gameplay that we saw, or some of the trailer that we saw, it was gameplay. They do have gameplay up. Like, it might be very basic alpha, like, still figuring things out, but some of it was gameplay. So I'm thinking maybe next year.
No, there's absolutely no way we will get Kingdom Hearts 4 next year. Because also keep in mind, I am pretty sure that Tetsuya Nomura is still working on this, right?
Yeah.
And he is also working on Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 as the creative director.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no...
I have less faith in getting Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 before getting Kingdom Hearts 4. I mean, put that
we're not
out
getting
there right
either
away.
of them anytime soon.
But no, we're going to get Kingdom Hearts 4 first. 100% we're going to get that first.
I will make a bet with you on this and easily take your money.
Fine. I will buy you Final Fantasy VII Remake if that comes out before Kingdom Hearts. You have to buy me Kingdom Hearts if it comes out before Final Fantasy VII Remake 2.
I mean, they're both going to be $70 games, so...
But if it's not coming out for 7 years, like Cobb is saying, I can save $10 a year and still buy it for it. I'm just saying, I don't think we're getting 7 Remake before we haven't seen anything from 7 Remake 2 yet. They haven't sent
It's cool. Kingdom Hearts 3 took 6 fucking years. We saw that game for 6 years before it came out.
How long did we see Final Fantasy VII Remake before that came out?
Probably also 6 years.
Yeah. Okay, look, neither of them are coming anytime soon. But keep in mind, like, this is not just them iterating on Kingdom Hearts 3. This game is obviously built on a new engine for next-gen hardware. It's not a 2-year development cycle.
They're currently, what they had showed was Unreal 4, and they're upgrading to Unreal 5. The only reason Kingdom Hearts 3, or one of the big reasons why it took so long, was because they were using their proprietary engine, and then moved it to Unreal 4, which was a lot fucking harder than moving from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5.
Absolutely, but I'm not talking about the engine they're working on, like, by itself. I'm talking about Kingdom Hearts 3 was, like, they built that on previous gen hardware where they had already upgraded most of their existing games to that with all those re-releases, so they had similar assets they could sort of, like, work with. This game looks entirely different than Kingdom Hearts. They're rebuilding everything from the ground up. That's going to be at least a 5-year development cycle. And Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in 2020, right? So
2019.
Oh, fuck you. Was it really 2019 that Kingdom Hearts 3 came out?
Yep.
Holy shit.
If it came out in 2020, it would have been 8 years between, or 7 years between when it got shown off originally and when it finally came out.
Well, it was
first debuted in 2013.
I definitely thought that 3 and Final Fantasy VII Remake came out the same year. I thought Kingdom Hearts 3 was like January and Final Fantasy VII was like April. Fuck me. But that's why I said, like, it's going to be at least like 4 to 5 years from when they're announcing it, because Square is not good about releasing games on time, and Nomura takes his fucking time. Like, it's not a bad thing, because, like, take time. Like, don't rush it out. Like, don't put out a broken game. Look at fucking Cyberpunk.
According to Polygon, Kingdom Hearts Missing Link does not have a release date. So this is there's something coming out. So I was
Missing Link, I think, is the iOS Android game.
Yeah, that doesn't have a release date. That's scheduled to come out 2022. And I believe Missing Link is where the girl that is in Kingdom Hearts 4, I think that's where she is from. So, we should, I don't know, like, either way, Drew, I'm making this bet with you. I will buy you Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 if it comes out before Kingdom Hearts. This is on record, this is recorded. Only if you promise to buy me Kingdom Hearts 4
if it comes out before FF7 Remake Part 2.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I will win this bet, and it's not even going to be close.
We have seen more for Kingdom Hearts 4 than we have for Final Fantasy Part 2.
Sure. We've seen a super generic trailer
that had active gameplay in it.
Did it though?
It did.
That's a vertical slice. You cannot say active gameplay. Like, I understand that looks like gameplay, but like, there's a good chance that is not what gameplay will look like. Like, that is what these unfortunately for like the people at whatever studio makes this at Square, like that was like a fucking E3 thing where like they had to carve out a piece of the game they're making that like probably doesn't exist. Like, what they showed probably does not exist in a real fashion in the game yet.
Right.
Because of how game development is. They probably had to take like 3 months to make that piece of gameplay. And then they have to go and be like, all right, well, can we make this piece of gameplay fit into the game now? Or do we just like push this to the side and hope no one asks about it later? Like, game development's fucking rough. And like, I don't want that. Like, I mean, look, I have to play every Kingdom Hearts game basically still. I've played like the first 2 and 3D, but like, I don't want this game or Final Fantasy VII to come out too soon. I want them to take as much time as they need to make a game that is worth playing. And like building it on next gen on like current gen hardware on PS5 and Xbox, like, take your time. Like, make sure you learn how to use that hardware, because that hardware is way more powerful than what you're used to. And like, I'd rather have the game look as good as it possibly can and play as good as it possibly can than have it like come out and like be broken or buggy or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, like Nomura just takes his time. Like, the dude is crazy, like in a good way, mostly. But like, still, Like, he has no idea what he's doing with this. Apparently, the Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to kickstart the Lost Masters arc. Like, this is the first game of many. We're going to have another 30 fucking Kingdom Hearts games that make no sense in any order.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 games. I'm sorry, there are 7 games between Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 3. Only one of them is a numbered Kingdom Hearts game. That's insane. Also, it looks like, Droo, for what it's worth, it looks like Kingdom Hearts 3 started early development in 2010.
Oh, I'm just saying from the time we saw Kingdom Hearts 3. The first trailer was E3 2013.
It doesn't feel that long ago, but at the same time, like, it feels so much longer ago. I think
2013's almost a decade ago. Think about that.
No, I know. That's what I mean. Like, it doesn't feel like it was a decade ago, but
E3 died since then. E3 doesn't exist anymore.
That is fair. Rich, did you ever finish all the Kingdom Hearts?
I stopped at 3Ds.
Okay, so you still have like 18 more to go.
No, I have 2 more and then Kingdom Hearts 3, so 3 more.
Did you do Birth by Sleep?
Hold on, let me look up the game order.
Yeah, so I know Birth by Sleep takes place at a different point than Dream Drop Distance, but came out before. That's why I wasn't sure if you were playing like release order or like chronological.
I was playing in whatever order the collections fucking had them in.
And the collections were weird because of the way that they were broken up into like those remixes and shit.
Yeah, and like I know I finished like 1.5, 2.7, or like whatever it was. Games. Let's see. I did Chain of Memories. Did 2. I did because Recode is just or 358 by 2 was just the 358 by 2 was just the narrative where you watch. Birth by Sleep is pretty cool. I did Birth by Sleep, so yeah, 3Ds is what I was on.
Okay.
Which is just Dream. Yeah, it's Dream Drop Distance, and then I guess it's Unchained would be the next one. But that's just like a remake of the first one or something like that. I have to go back and play it, but I stopped like maybe like an hour or 2 into 3Ds because I killed myself in playing all of the rest of them. That I just kind of needed that break. But I do, ever since the announcement of this, I do plan on going back. It's probably not going to be on stream because Square is fucking rude when it comes to music. So I'll probably end up just playing those on my own. I've been wanting to replay Remake Part 2 or Final Fantasy Remake and the Yuffie expansion. I've been wanting to play those on stream again. But the one time I played the Yuffie expansion, I got hit with it wasn't like a strike or whatever. It was like, hey, you can't take any money from this one. Or it was one of them, like a warning. It was like a copyright warning because of the fanfare. And I've talked to other streamers like, just play it without music. I'm like, what's the point of playing a Final Fantasy without the music? What's the point of playing a Square game without the music?
And I mean,
Square's just...
Yeah, that's a lot of the Japanese publishers are like that. Because it's not them, it's their fucking legal bots.
It's just, but like Square is very known. Like literally, it was like 2 seconds of the piano music. Like I can't even go din din and because you know we're gonna get strict because Square there will be a Square bot that'll hear that and know that I was trying to do the little piano music. And
it's most Japanese game companies like Square, Nintendo, like they're all super aggressive with that, and it's their shitty bots. And then, like, you file the, like, fair use claim or whatever, and it takes them 3 weeks to, like, approve it. And at that point, you're not, like, you're past the point of monetization anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I've played Mario games and stuff on stream. Haven't gotten hit.
So,
I've played...
Nintendo is more, aggressive on YouTube. Like, if you upload your stuff to YouTube, you're more likely to get copyright strikes there.
Yeah, but it's just, it's ridiculous. So it's like, I might go back to 3Ds. I might try playing it on stream, but probably not because of how long it takes me to play RPGs on stream in general. I'm still playing Elden Ring. Still.
You never finished Pokemon, right?
I never went back to Pokemon, so once I beat Elden Ring, I'm gonna go back to Pokemon. So yeah, I want to do Tales of Arise, but I know that'll take me for fucking ever on stream as well, unless I stop with everything else and just play Tales of Arise. And I don't know if I can do that on stream. I just don't really know if I can do that anymore. I like the little changing up of games each day and stuff.
I don't know, man. Maybe you should just learn to play games straight through.
That's what I used to do.
Just 15-hour sessions every day.
I mean, at this point, I probably could. The whole point of like limiting how long my stream would be was because of trying to get affiliate and three viewers, an average of 3 viewers. Now that I have affiliate, I don't need that average anymore. It doesn't fucking matter what my average is. I can have an average of 1 viewer. I'm still getting ad revenue. So I could do 15-hour streams at this point.
Do it. Do it, you coward.
I mean, that's not going to push me to do it. It's not. But it's also...
I get it. You're scared. It's fine.
And no, it's also finding getting a capture card to stream my PS5 onto my PC. That's the other thing that I need.
You bought a $75 Godzilla. Buy yourself a fucking $100 capture card.
You see, here's the thing. There hasn't been anything that's really pushing me to play my PS5 on stream right now. So, like, I don't.
You were
really
just talking
need
about
it.
all these games you wanted to play.
I'm talking about Kingdom Hearts. I don't need to play it. The only game I really want to get and play right now is Sifu, but I could get that on Epic if I wanted to. So it's not even that big of a deal.
Excuses.
It's not excuses. I don't need it. I
Well,
don't.
Do you want to
Godzilla, I needed.
Do you want to talk about Dark Tower or the Return to Dark Tower?
Yes. So it was Return to Dark Tower was the remake of a game from like the 80s, or it's like a pseudo sequel to a game from I believe the 80s. I don't really know much about it, but Eric kickstarted it because that's what he does. And we got to actually play it. He got it a few weeks ago, and his birthday was this past weekend, so I made it a point to go over and hang out with him for his birthday and play some board games. And it was really fun. It was really cool. So it's from what I can tell, 4 players max. You each pick a region to start in, so north, south, east, or west. And you sync up this tower to a tablet. And the tablet will do all the card drawing and like run the tower. The tower is like kind of a character in and of itself. And so on your turn, which the game is broken up into months and then turns. So like month 1 will have I believe month 1 has enough turns for how did it go? Or was that yeah, because each player had a turn, and so the turn 1 was Eric's turn, and then turn 2 was my turn. Month 1, I believe each character had a turn. And then from that point on, month 2 could have they said an average of 7 turns per month. So you could have 4 turns, you could have 8 turns. It's an average of 7 turns per month. And in that time, you have to figure out ways to build up your army, to explore dungeons and quests, to complete side quests, to gather equipment and resources in order to fend off the enemies that are on the board, and then use this tablet to fight the enemies while keeping track of the resources you're using while fighting the enemy. And then lastly, at the end of your turn, you drop like a little skull into the tower itself. And then that'll actually move the game forward on the tablet because it's connected via Bluetooth. So it senses the skull, and if the skull lands on like one of the sections or comes out of the tower, you have to place it on a building somewhere. And it's a very neat, interesting game that has a very strong strategy feel to it. That is bad to play with Eric because he doesn't think about strategy.
That sounds about right. Sounds like an interesting game, though.
It is. It was really cool. So, like, there's a bunch of different scenarios, and there's even, so you play video games a little bit, but you don't really play, open world games or survival games. Like, some games have a seed, like a world seed, where, like, if you type in the numbers or if you type in the set of characters, for instance, when I play 7 Days to Die, I can type in, 1 quest, and that'll generate a world off of the list of characters that I made. And my world seed would be 1 quest, and it'll generate whatever kind of world, it'll generate a map based on that. In this game, there are seeds that are generated with your playthrough, that you can actually post online, like, hey, we did this quest on this seed with this difficulty or whatever, and we beat it in this time, and you can throw your stats up there, and other people can go on and they could try it and see if they can do better, or how they can do it with you. Or if, like, you find a really fun seed, you can, like, hey guys, we found this really fun seed, it wasn't too difficult, come check it out, it's this with this quest. Like, it's really cool that, like, even if you play the same quest, each game is going to be different.
Okay. Yeah, no, that does sound like it would be a cool game.
Yeah. The only thing that I don't really like is the sort of action economy in the game itself. So you get movement, you get a reinforcement, and then you get an action. That's really all you can do on your turn. Your turn, you can move up to X amount of spaces based on your speed. So my character was 4, Eric's character was 3. You can do a, quote, reinforcement in any of the spaces that have a city. And each character's is a little bit different. So, like, I could, if I reinforced for free that in a citadel, I believe, I could get a potion, or if I spent 5 magic, basically, I could unlock a special, like, a passive ability for me. Each character also has a special starting ability, so that once they start their turn, they can use it, but if they don't use it at the start of their turn, they cannot use it at all. Which is really mostly affecting, like, characters who have movement-based starting abilities. So, like, Eric's starting ability was, the start of his turn, if he uses his banner, he gets 5 warriors. Just right off the bat. Whereas my starting is, I can move to anywhere in the region I'm in. So, if I'm starting on the corner and I need to get to say I'm starting on the southwest corner of the south, or the western corner of the south, and I need to go to the west, I am using my banner ability is pointless because I can't move any further west. But if I'm on the west and trying to get to the east, I could move myself to the other side for free without using any of my movement or any of my speed. We only played with the 2 characters. I don't know what the other characters are. But it's just, when it comes to using your action can be cleanse, which is remove all the skulls off of a region, which if a region has more than 3 skulls, it gets destroyed. So you need to keep cleansing that. Also, if you run out of skulls to drop into the tower, the game is over. So you need to keep cleansing to get the skulls. So that's fine. You cleanse, whether you cleanse 1 skull or 3 skulls, that's your action, is once you cleanse all the skulls. But then if you were to fight a monster as your action, it does this little mini game on the tablet where you count your what's it called? Your resources and everything, your advantages, and you figure out what you can use to attack the enemy. And you do this little card game where you pull cards, and, like, that's not too quick, but that's also not slow. But it's like, my action to just take skulls away, or my action to fight this thing that takes a few minutes, are the same thing. But where I get a little frustrated is if you use your action to quest. You can either have a quest where it's just, here's 2 items, a fetch quest, where it's just you hold the button and it's done, or you go diving into a dungeon where you could be sitting there for 5 minutes or more, going through the dungeon, counting your resources, trying to decide the strategy and best path, going into each room. That's all one action. And to me, it just kind of feels a little dirty. Like, either here's 3 skulls, or here, do this whole other fucking side game as a single action.
Yeah, that does sound like a lot. Like, just...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It would be fine if it's like, you can cleanse multiple cities or whatever, or if you choose the cleanse, you can do that twice, or if you choose, the battle a monster, you fight all the monsters on the space you're on, or something like that. That would be, to me, better. But, like, the fact that cleanse is just 1, or fighting a monster is just 1, but doing a quest and going into a dungeon is all of this. It just it was a little bit of a bummer, because Eric ended up doing all of the dungeon crawling, and I ended up just getting stuck cleansing the entire time. I even got an ability later in the game where I could use the cleanse ability and cleanse any spot on the map. So I just didn't move. And I was like, alright, I cleanse this, and I reinforce. And I cleanse this, and I reinforce. Because Eric kept going into the dungeons or fighting the bosses and spending our skulls, and I needed to keep getting them back. Otherwise, the game would have been lost.
Yeah, so you guys you guys were not the right two people to probably play that game together.
I kept trying to tell him at one point, I was like, what are you doing? He's like, what? We have to go kill it. Yeah, we do, but we need skulls, or we're gonna lose. But I'm just gonna go kill it. But Eric went to go fight the big bad boss the first time, and ended the fight. We had 0 skulls in stock. But luckily he had an ability that after fighting, whether retreat or not, after fighting, we regain 1 skull. So if it wasn't for him, or he can cleanse 1 skull from anywhere after fighting. So if it wasn't for that ability, we would have lost. Because he didn't think about it, he didn't try to plan, he just went right for it. And I'm telling him, like, come on, we gotta strategize. Here's what I'm doing the next couple of rounds before I go fight the boss. I'm just gonna go fight the boss. That's the point of the game. You have to, he's like, the point of the game is to be overwhelmed. And I'm like, this is a strategy game. You're supposed to strategize. I went and fought the boss, and I had no problem. Because I ended up with, like, an army of 50, a bunch of mana. I'd cleansed as many skulls as I could. Like, I was able to do everything I needed to do to stock up, fought the boss once and killed it, no problem. I was like, that's what happens when you prepare and strategize a little bit. And he's like,
where's the fun in that?
I mean, that's part of the game, though, is strategizing and planning, though.
It's a boring game.
I mean, you're playing the wrong kind of... If you're gonna pay, what is it, like $300 for that fucking game or whatever, you're gonna want to strategize. Like,
let's be
you're
realistic.
Gonna want to try to...
Eric never actually had any assumption he would ever play the game. He just bought it because he thought it looked neat.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. 100%. But it's a really cool game. It was really fun. The miniatures are very well detailed. The little skulls, I'm afraid I'm going to lose them every time I touch it. I'm also afraid I'm going to crush it. They're not brittle or anything, but they're so tiny. But it was a super fun game, and I do want to play it again because it's one of those like scenario games where you can do different things each time and have a different game. But knowing my luck, we're not going to get to. I love playing Betrayal at House on the Hill because I've never had a duplicate storyline happen. But we can never play it. There's like friggin' 80 stories with the expansion. Or more. Something like, maybe like over 100. With the expansion. And I've played the game maybe in total like 10 times. Maybe even less than that in my entire life. I'm like, this is a game that like we should be playing every week. Or every time we get together we should be playing Betrayal. Because every game is different.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But also, like, people don't play games. Come on now.
No, people don't play games anymore.
But anything else you want to say about it?
No, that's about it. It's
right.
It's a good game.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it at the very least. I guess last thing, actually pretty quick because I don't have a ton to say at the moment. I played Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, they did a lot of work to these Lego games. I will say, like, it's been a number of years. Like, this game was supposed to come out like 3 years ago. They've added, and maybe some of the more recent ones had this stuff. I don't remember it from anyone I've played, but there's like legit side quests and stuff. Like when you're like running around like Naboo or Camino or anything in the movies, like there are just NPCs with like little like exclamation points over their head that if you talk to them, they're like, "Oh, can you like take this thing to like this other person for me?" Sometimes the side quest requires a specific type of character, like you need like a bounty hunter to do it, or a protocol droid. So like you can't necessarily do it on your first time through there as part of the story, but you have to come back later, so it gives you more of a reason to go back and like do the free play through the levels, because there's so much that you can potentially see and do. And it also added like a more of an RPG element with being able to level up your stuff. So there are when you collect like the blue Lego bricks, you use those as well as just the bits that you collect, like anytime that you destroy anything, and you use those to level up. There's a skill tree of just like generic stuff for characters, as well as skill trees specific to each like class of character. So like they've got a lot going on there. Biggest problem I'm noticing so far, I did get it on Switch, so there've been a few times where there's been a little bit of like like just frame drops and sluggishness in it, but nothing like egregious. Like just like a second where like you notice like, oh, like there's too much going on for the Switch to handle in handheld.
Yeah.
But you can't just play any episode you want.
Mhm.
So
you have to play through them all.
well, you have to play them in order of like in like
Of-
trilogy order. So
You have to play them in order of each saga. So you can play each saga in any order. So like you can play Saga 3, so the most recent ones.
No, man,
first.
the whole thing is the saga. They're individual trilogies.
That's what I mean. You can play the third trilogy first if you wanted to, but like you have to play the like each movie in order, or each level in order.
Yeah, so like when you start, you can start with either Phantom Menace, A New Hope, or The Force Awakens, but then you can't do any of the in between movies until you've finished the one before it.
Mm-hmm.
Which like isn't a huge deal, but like I would like to be able to just like kind of like jump in and just kind of run around any of them. Because like Attack of the Clones is a bad movie, and like I didn't really want to play those levels.
Yeah.
But in order to do Revenge of the Sith, which like has the more fun like locations in my opinion, I have to play through Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
And I'm about halfway through Attack of the Clones. So I finished up Phantom Menace, halfway through Attack of the Clones, just finished up Camino and chasing Jango Fett and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm back to playing as Anakin, and I just got to Tatooine.
Yeah.
But the game gives you plenty of time to just like wander. There's lots of prompts, like when you get to like a point where it's going to continue the story, like the game literally says, "Hey, do you want to continue the story now, or do you want to just like go back and like keep exploring and like breaking stuff?"
Mm-hmm.
It does one other kind of annoying thing where whenever you like start a level basically, or even in the middle of levels, you'll normally have to follow somebody. And that's where like exposition happens. Like that's where like the dialogue happens and all that sort of stuff. It does the annoying video game thing where the character you're following walks at just an excruciatingly slow pace, and it also makes you walk at that pace.
Yeah.
So like if you wander far enough away, you'll start moving faster, but that person will stop moving. Even if you're moving forward. They will stop moving until you go back to them, and then they will start going forward again. And like it makes parts that like should only take like 30 seconds to a minute take like 5 minutes to like just slowly like walking through the clone facility takes so fucking long because you have to walk right next to the fucking Kaminoan until you get to Django's room.
Yeah.
But like it's got the goofy Lego humor, which is always fun, and like it's easy. Like it's basically like a no fail game. Like even when you die, you don't really die.
You can even set like a mode to where if you jump off a ledge, you don't die.
Yeah, or like you don't lose any of the bits and stuff like that. Yeah, like the game has some accessibility options. I didn't actually get into them, but it prompts you right up front if you're interested in checking them out. And like yeah, like it plays well. It looks really nice, even on like the small Switch screen. Like they look like actual Legos. Like it looks like a Lego piece that I could just like pick up off the game and like put on like the X-Wing or something like that I have.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. I'm gonna keep playing it. It's more Lego.
Yeah, it seems super fun. I'm thinking of getting it at some point. Not right away. I've got too much going on right now to get that. Yeah,
no, I can understand. Like you said, you still have a bunch of games that you haven't even gone back to finish.
Yeah.
But I think that is probably going to be a show.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is. Before we wrap up, I do want to say one thing. I'm playing Mega Man 8 at the release. It's tonight. If you listen to this day it releases, I'm super happy. I'm super excited to be playing Mega Man 8 on stream tonight. Please come hang out and watch me play Mega Man 8 tonight. Because, like, I'm just super excited to play it. I have so much nostalgia for that game.
You're talking about tonight as in tomorrow, like Thursday night, right?
Yeah, Thursday night.
Tonight when it goes live.
If you listen to this, the day it goes live, 6 or 7 Eastern, around then, just find me on Twitter, or I'll retweet it on OneQuest's Twitter as well, twitch.tv/b_walnuts. Come watch me play Mega Man 8, because I'm just super excited, and so I really want to play that one, because I have so much nostalgia for it. So
cool. Yeah, Mega Man 8 was an okay one.
Oh, I forgot until a friend sent me a video the other day of how bad the voice acting is.
Oh,
especially with, like, Dr. Light calls Dr. Wily, it's Dr. Wiry.
Oh, jeez.
And it's like, I don't know if it was just like poor voice acting and mocking like the L's, or
it's
if
poor
it's just
voice acting and poor localization is the problem.
Yeah, it's
at that point they probably didn't hire an American to localize it.
Yeah.
Because games they didn't do that stuff back then. That's why like a lot of games in the like 90s and 80s had really bad localizations and translations.
Mm-hmm.
But that's cool. Yeah, that was an okay one. Like I have a preference for the earliest of Mega Man games, but like
to be honest, the worst Mega Man in my opinion so far is Mega Man 1.
Oh yeah, no, Mega Man 1's not good. Mega Man 2 and 3 are the best.
Followed by Mega Man 4. Just because of the level of difficulty that game has. It was not fun to play. Then Mega Man 7. And then the rest of them are all tied, because they're all Mega Man. Like, there's no good or bad about nothing that brings either of the rest of them above or below, the rest of them.
I disagree, but everyone has their own opinion. And you can have the wrong opinion. It's alright.
I mean, what is there... This is a conversation we can get into some other time about it. Once I finish all 10, because I don't have 11 yet, once I finish all 10, I'll give you as best I can, my ranking. But that's pretty much my ranking. 8 and 9 are probably just going to be the same as I said with the rest, where it's just like, it's a Mega Man game. It's fun. There's nothing bad, not saying there's nothing bad about it, but it's at the same level as Mega Man 2 and 3 and 5 and 6.
I mean, that's inaccurate, but like I said, everyone is entitled to an opinion.
When was the last time did you ever play Mega Man 5 and 6?
I have. I mean, 5 and 6, it's been a long time since I played 5 and 6, but like they're not as good as 2 and 3. Like 2 and 3 have the better level design, the better characters. Like they're more fun to like just from that standpoint. Yes, the gameplay is the same in all of them, but like 2 and 3 have like the more memorable characters in my opinion, which makes a more fun game because it's like, oh yeah, like let's go fight Bubble Man.
Bubble Man's more memorable than I can't remember. Bubble Man's really
yes.
the only one I can remember right now.
Yeah, you just proved my point.
You just
no.
proved
The only reason I know. All right, give me somebody from Mega Man 3 then.
I could name you all 8 bosses in Mega Man 3 right now.
All right, go ahead, do it.
Shadow Man, Magnet Man, Top Man, Hard Man, Gemini Man. I'm just trying to. Now I'm forgetting what one. Spark Man. Oh, shit, what ones did I name?
I forgot Sparkman was in 3. I thought he was 2 for some reason.
Did I say Snake and Skull? There, that's all 8.
Skullman was 4. Skullman was 4.
Wait, who's
Proto Man? Fuck you.
No.
Proto Man
he's
was
in
since
3.
Mega Man 2.
He's not in 2. Nope. He's fucking
Proto
super
Man
not
is
in
3.
2.
The whistle is in 3.
Yep.
That's not the sound, but you know what I mean.
Oh, Skullman is 4 now. Shit. Who is the last one? My problem is I don't remember what ones I said.
Yeah, I don't remember who you said either.
Snake, Hard, Top, Gemini. Spark, Shadow.
You got 2 more.
Fuck. I don't remember.
See, you mentioned a Mega Man 4 boss. You're all like, they're more memorable. You mentioned Mega Man 4 boss.
Yeah, but he also named 6 other Mega Man 3 bosses.
Yeah, but when was the last time you played Mega Man 4 compared to when was the last time you played Mega Man 3? I'm also on record, like not even 5 minutes ago, saying Mega Man 4 is one of my least favorite.
And like, so to be fair, I played Mega Man 1 through 5 probably about 5 years ago. I still remember the Mega Man 2 and 3 masters better than 4 or 5.
See, I don't have even like I beat Mega Man 7 last week, and I don't remember the boss master. Like I don't remember the weaknesses and what to fight him as.
Yeah, like
I've played
Mega Man 2 had fucking Metal Man,
Needle
Air
Man. That's the fucking other one.
But like, Rich, I forget. Did you play the Mega Mans when you were a kid, or were they not? Did you not have them?
We had Mega Man 3, and then we got Mega Man 8.
Okay.
I think we had 3. We might have had 4. I remember Skullman when I was a kid. And I also distinctly remember Snake Man. I thought Snake Man was 2 or was 3.
Snake is 3.
But like I could have always remembered Snake Man and Skullman in the same one, but they're not. And like it kind of when I played them a couple weeks ago, like I was just like, wait, Skullman was 4? Like so I guess I had 4, but I had 1. I believe I had 1, 4, and 1, 3, and 4, I guess, and then 8 maybe. But yeah, I played them when I was a kid. Just not all of them. But like, I have now played them in the last 2 months, 3 months. Because there was like a 2-week break because of Elden Ring and shit.
And like, I do agree with you that 1 is probably the worst.
It blows my mind that they made a series out of Mega Man, a video game series out of Mega Man 1.
But like, most games are like that. Like, if you go back and play the first one, they're not good compared to what comes after it, because it's like, the first one is basically proof of concept. But like, I will say, like, the first one probably has the more iconic looking Robot Masters. Like, if you show me a Robot Master from 1, I'll probably be like, that's such and such from Mega Man 1. Versus, like, if you show me anything from, like, 4 on, I'd be like, totally a Mega Man villain? Probably is named this. Couldn't tell you what game they were actually from, though.
Yeah, I mean, we all know Mega Man 1 villains, just because that was the cartoon and everything as well. Like,
exactly.
Just used to it. Like, my biggest problem with Mega Man 1, and I know we're going on a rant, we were wrapping up. My biggest problem with Mega Man 1 was the boss rush is split up into 2 stages. And when you go after Cutman, there are no bricks to grab to throw at him to use Gutsman's ability. So Gutsman's ability is absolutely fucking worthless, in my opinion. You get a worthless ability in that game.
It happens. Look,
no,
I mean,
generally,
we're not arguing that Mega Man 1 is not a good Mega Man.
I know. I needed to get that rant out there. It was just like Gutsman's ability is worthless, and I'm so mad about it.
But with that said, let's go ahead and wrap up. Like we said earlier, the next book club is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 and 2 from 90 and 91, I believe. 90 and 92.
And maybe bonus 3 if these guys can watch them.
Maybe. The movies are all over the place. They're on Netflix and Amazon and HBO, so plenty of places to watch them. And yeah, that'll be in 2 weeks on April 28th. So we will be talking about it on the 27th, but it'll go live on the 28th. So that's fun. Oh, excuse me. But other than that, if you would like to find some more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, whatever you prefer. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. It all helps. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Twitter and Instagram. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo, and you can always send us emails to social@one-quest.com. Otherwise, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.